to Tracy Momey Reads. I am back again with another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Going Dark by Melissa de la Cruz. Going Dark. Okay, so the genre of this particular book is actually YA, young adult. And the characters are all in college. So they're college age kids, but they're technically considered adults. Okay, so the main character in the book, well, there's two technically, is a girl by the name of Amelia Ashley, right? And she is a very popular social media influencer, and she has a blog. So essentially what she does is she blogs about food and travel and traveling and finding food in those places that's kind of unique and different and that kind of thing. And she's amassed this huge following online. She has a YouTube channel and all this stuff. And her life kind of mirrors maybe what you may be familiar with some of these influencers that get a lot of opportunities based on their social media following. So there's Amelia. And then you have her boyfriend, Josh. And Josh is like an all-American kid, I guess. He's described as being, really handsome. And I can't remember. I feel like he was an art major, maybe. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember that detail. But it wasn't critical to the story. So Josh and Amelia, when the story starts, we learn that they have gone on a trip to Rome, okay? And part of it is like, it was something that was on her bucket list, and it was also something that she was blogging about, and, sharing with her followers, because she was kind of like filming the whole thing as she went. But when the book starts off, we already know from the first chapter something has gone awry. And we know also from the blurb because Amelia goes missing on that trip. And the thing that was just like so crazy to start off, which is what pulled me into the story, is that she went missing in Rome, and Josh swears he had nothing to do with it. He doesn't know what happened. They had a disagreement that kind of came out of the blue, and she stormed off. So he just left. Like, he left his American girlfriend in another country and just flew home without her, right? So you already know immediately, everything was pointing to Josh, that he had to have had something to do with it. Who does that? You go to Rome with someone and you get into an argument and you just leave them there. This girl that you claim to, care about so much. So that's kind of how the story starts off. And then we start to unravel things, as the author is giving us more detail. Because as a reader, you're like, yeah, that does sound suspicious. Why did he leave her? Did he do it? But he is just like so adamant, that he did not do this. And to himself, to his friends when he comes back, to Amelia's best friend, to the police, he is like, I had nothing to do with this. So you're kind of wondering, well, what could have happened? Because this is all sounding real fishy, Josh. Your little thing about y'all getting into a fight, that you don't even know what started it, it's not adding up. And not to mention, he has this gash on his hand that's, the wound is really fresh. That he says he cut himself on glass, right? They find blood in his suitcase that is a match for Amelia. So it's just not looking good for your boy Josh, right? So then the author takes us on this journey, and it's pretty cool because it's told through like diary entries, the characters' points of view, social media posts. So the way that she kind of lays the story out is very current, like kind of what you're used to if you're on social media a lot, like maybe the transcript of a YouTube video, or just text back and forth between people. It's stuff like that. So she uses a variety of methods for the reader. And I admit, at first I was kind of like, oh, I don't know about this, because you go from reading a normal book told in third person to, reading a diary entry, and then reading a transcript or a social media post or a text. So every other chapter is like kind of alternating depending on who we're hearing from in the story, because there are a lot of different characters that start to come into play, because you have, Amelia, who is silent for most of the first half of the book. We don't really hear her point of view until the author, later in the book, when the author does some like flashback type stuff. Then you have Josh, her boyfriend. Her friend enlists this girl who's a hacker to kind of do a deep dive into Amelia's social media and her accounts, to see if there were ever any clues, anything that they could figure out what happened to her, and if Josh really did something. And then there's this other girl that kind of comes into play, which it kind of confused me at first, but I was still intrigued, because, the things that authors do in these stories, I've learned, especially when reading like kind of mystery or suspense type books, which is what this kind of falls in the vein of. I've learned reading those kind of books that the authors never just drop something in that we're not gonna need later, or that's not gonna have some significance later. So I was like, okay, I don't see how this person is fitting in here, but let's just follow it and see where it goes. And then that's when the twist comes, and we start to see that this book is really, at its core, about revenge. Yes, it's about revenge. And I'm not going to spoil this, by adding any superfluous, information. But just to tell you guys that that's what it ends up being about, and how it comes about and how everything is revealed. I felt that the author did a good job. Although initially, like I said, I was very confused, because it was like, who is this person like that you're throwing in the mix here? But it started to make sense pretty quickly, and you kind of realize what's going on in the story. And you do find out, hashtag, where is Amelia Ashley? Because that was a hashtag. You know how, like, unfortunately, when people pass or they die or something happens, they become a social media hashtag in a lot of cases, justice for this person, RIP to this person. And that's what it was. It was a hashtag, where is Amelia Ashley, because she had gone missing. And there was this underlying social commentary about when girls, women, young women go missing in this country, and how, depending on who you are, whether or not people really seem to care. And there was even a mention, they talked about Gabby Petito, I think was her name, the young lady who went missing, and unfortunately, they found her body, and her boyfriend was the one that had, ended her life. But there are girls and women of different races and ethnicities that go missing every day that don't get even a speck of the coverage that Gabby got. And there was some underlying, thing running in the book about that played a kind of pivotal role as to what was going on with the revenge. So I will tell you that as the story goes on, you're trying to figure out, how does this all, piece together? That's something to keep in mind. We find out what happened to Amelia Ashley, and where, what her fate ended up being. So I would say that the thing that I really liked about the book, it was very fast paced. I think that using those like text messages, social media transcripts and diary type entries did make it kind of go faster, because we were just getting dialogue or text. It wasn't a lot of like descriptive stuff like that kind of comes with regular novelization, when you're doing just reading or writing in first or second or third person. Very twisty. At some point, you might have to write down some notes to keep up with all the players, especially after the other girl is mentioned or comes into play into the story. And those just wanting to know what happened in all these theories is what kept me engaged in the book. So, yeah, those are the things that I liked. Now, what I disliked, which it seems like a lot of books that are based on revenge, they're getting more and more grandiose with the things that people are doing and how they're going about it. And, you know, making you as the reader go, okay, that's a bit much. But, you know, like I've said before, it's like you have to suspend belief in some of these stories and just take it for what it is, which is entertainment value. And that's the case in, you know, Going Dark. Do I think it was a bit much and a bit unrealistic, some of the lengths that this person went through or went to get, you know, revenge? Absolutely. I totally think that. But, you know, I guess where there's a will, there's a way. And you just never know, like, how some people may be just so dedicated to seeing justice that they will do anything. Okay. If you like suspense books, young adult books, like books that have a lot of like pop culture and current references, you know, in terms of social media and things like that, then you will absolutely love Going Dark. And this was the first time that I read a like a suspense type YA book, you know. Most of them, there's like I've read a couple that were capers. I read, you know, the whole love triangle, you know, the sci-fi and things like that. But this was the first like suspense thriller type YA book that I read. And it was pretty good. So overall, I would actually give Going Dark 4 stars just for the fact that, like I said, it kept me engaged. It was a different writing style. All the pieces, you know, fit together, even though, like I said, the revenge piece, it was a bit much, like the lengths that the person went through. Now, I understood the revenge and probably would have wanted to, you know, get a little revenge myself, but I don't know that I would have had the, you know, the stamina to keep going the way that this person did. If you have read Going Dark by Melissa Cruz, I would love to know your thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the twist and when you figured out, you know, or found out what was actually going on in the book. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video. And if you have not already subscribed, take the opportunity to go ahead and click on the subscribe button and hit that post notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everyone who has already subscribed. I sincerely appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys watching today. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Bye.